right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Brick by Brick podcast. We have a first of its kind episode for you here today. We are joined by a FaZe fan, not an OpTic fan this time. I know the podcast is supposed to be exclusive to OpTic fans, but my boy Taiden AKA BigBodyBands over on Twitter. We met at Major 1, and he's a great dude. I told him we'd get him on at some point, and so here we are. If you want to introduce yourself real quick, Taiden.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Taiden, BigBodyBands. You know me.
Yeah, if you guys know him, you know him. If you've been to a major, how many majors or how many tournaments you been to or events?
That was my first CoD event, and that's the last one I went to. But I've been to multiple lands and stuff like that.
If you guys meet him, you'd remember him for sure.
Yeah,
he's a pretty memorable dude. I don't know. Can't word right now. Before we really get started, I do want to give a quick shout out to 1v1 for the sponsor on this one. Go over to OneVOneFocus.com. Use code ASTRO to get yourself 20% off of anything on their website, whether it be some of their shirts, the tubs, the starter kit. Try it out. If you guys aren't familiar with them, they are a performance gaming drink that uses scientifically based ingredients that actually help you in all the areas that matter when you're gaming or if you're in a tight 1v1 situation, such as focus, reaction time, mental clarity, stuff like that, by using a proprietary mushroom blend. If you guys are familiar with like cordyceps or lion's mane mushrooms or anything like that, that is what they are using. So again, go to 1v1.com, order yourself some stuff, try it out. It's good stuff. I've been on it for 4 months now, I think, something like that. I really like it, and the flavor is super good. So try that out. So something I ask everybody that comes on the show is, what does the green wall mean to you? Obviously, you're a FaZe fan, not an OpTic fan, so we'll spin it a little bit, and we'll just say, what does FaZe... Is there like an actual name for FaZe's fans? I feel like there's not. I think not like the green wall. Like there's not.
Right. No, I think they just call them FaZe fans. I mean, I can answer the OpTic question too.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. If you want to say like, what is OpTic and the green wall, but also like, what does being a FaZe fan mean to you? Yeah.
So like for the green wall thing, you know, I have respect for OpTic as an organization. Obviously, as a team, I'm going to bet against them because I'm a FaZe fan. But like their organization, they're definitely like the top dog. Like they are the cream of the crop. Like OpTic is like a great organization. You know, the green wall, that movement is a good movement. I'd say like they actually interact with their fans a lot, unlike a lot of other orgs, and they actually like keep it fresh. They keep it interactive. And the green wall is pretty solid, I'm not gonna lie. Especially in their home arena, I figured that out the hard way. They are definitely like unbeatable for sure. But like for going on to like the FaZe side, like I think FaZe is definitely like the runner up or even tied for OpTic. Content wise,
I mean, FaZe is the largest organization in the world. if you go based on following.
Right, and like if like content wise, FaZe is for sure number one. Competitive content is like iffy, but like Fortnite. Like snipers, trick shotting, stuff like that. FaZe is good.
Yeah, FaZe's content as an organization is insane. For competitive COD.
It's like it was good. And then like
it falls off. Yeah.
It's like the stock market, it goes up and down. But I was always like an OpTic and FaZe split fan growing up. And then like I'd say like around BO4, World War II, I kind of pushed like fully to FaZe, and I liked E United too when it was a org for sure. Yeah, and that's when I discovered like Arcees and stuff, and then he went to FaZe, so then it just kind of meshed very well, and so that's pretty much like the FaZe and the OpTic stuff for me.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for FaZe too. Like when they came onto the scene, I didn't like them because I was such a big OpTic fan, and this is back in like sniping. And I, to this day, don't really like trick shotting a lot because a lot of trick shotting videos back then, like they were either set up or it was like you'd run search and destroy and just wait till there's one guy left. And whether, you know, he was your friend setting up or not, like maps like Terminal or High Rise, like you would just play along and go stand somewhere and like your whole squad is just one man army stunning him. Like, okay, like it just didn't showcase skill in my opinion back then. And FaZe, like that was such a big part of their content was like trick shotting, ill cam, stuff like that. And so I didn't like him, but I've said this since like I think the beginning of this podcast. If at some point one of the bigger organizations had to branch out and transcend Call of Duty and go into other things, and I am forever grateful that it was not OpTic that did it, and they stuck really to their roots for a lot of it. But I am also really grateful that FaZe did it, because like somebody had to. And FaZe has done an incredible job. They've transcended not just Call of Duty, but gaming and esports. You have people like Bronny James, Snoop Dogg. Like they have really become a global entertainment brand, which is also just helping get more eyes onto gaming in general. So like it helps everybody. Right. So a lot of respect for FaZe. And I've talked to a few guys. I've met a few guys, and like they're always super chill. Like I met Temper back in 2013. So,
okay.
Yeah. When did you, well, I guess you kind of answered that. You started when did you start watching FaZe? You said like Black Ops 4 is kind of when you transitioned, but
transition. Like, yeah, I mean, like competitive wise, like for FaZe, yeah, BO4, but like FaZe in general, like watching their YouTube videos and their content, definitely like Black Ops 2, because like I remember like one day, like I was just sitting at school with my friends, and they're like, dude, my brother got trick shotted by this dude in FaZe, and I was like, what's FaZe? Yeah, and he like told me, and I was like, oh shit, okay. So then I went home, fucking threw my backpack at the wall, and I was like, FaZe.
What's FaZe?
What is FaZe? And I looked it up, and it was a recommended video of like it was FaZe, Apex, and FaZe Adapt, and they were doing like a MW2 like trick shotting video, and I watched it, and I was like, damn, because like at the time, all I ever played in pubs was like S&D. I was like an S&D kid,
yeah,
or like hardpoint or stuff like that, and I saw that, and I was like, oh shit, and then I was like, dude, could I do that? And then I tried it, and I was like, this ain't for me, but I'll keep watching.
See, I would fuck around with trick shots a little bit, but like I always really liked Zergriz, because he would just throw that shit in. Like it was so in the moment, spur of the moment like decision to just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna 360. And it's like there's so much randomness in that too. So it's like I just like the way that he went about it. I will say FaZe's editing though is
top notch.
Yeah. There's some
like,
god tier montages.
Yeah, and then dude, and they have like the most bizarre name for their trick shots. You be like, bro, what did you just hit? Dude, I just hit like a ladder care package, fake, untie my shoe, 360.
Just hit the fucking shot. Banana split ladder stall on the care package.
Dude, whoa! And then you're just sitting there, you're like, what the fuck is this guy on about?
Yeah, or you would have like some of them would like name them after themselves, like they're like the fakey shot.
Yeah,
like I don't know. It's really cool looking back at it. And like, I still wouldn't change anything. I still hate them back in the day, but no, I do like FaZe. Like they don't do anything wrong for the most part,
right?
So going in to another question that I typically ask in regards to OpTic, which I'd like to hear your answer to both sides of this. Is like what. OpTic obviously is a really unique organization, how they run and how they do everything. What do you think makes OpTic special versus other organizations? But then also, like, what do you think FaZe does that makes FaZe special?
Yeah, for sure. So OpTic, like, obviously what makes them special is, like you said, they stick to their roots. If OpTic wants to do something, they're going to do it. Like, they're not going to beat around the bush or, like, do alternatives to it. Like, for example, like they wanted to really host an OpTic Major.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they were going to do it in MW, but then COVID happened, unfortunately. And then Cold War, they were doing most of the year in like COVID based. And then like towards the end, they were like, okay, you can come back in, but you got to wear masks. And like obviously, they already had the Major set up, so Hex couldn't really like figure something out. But this year, they're like, COVID's slowing down. People don't have to wear masks. People are getting vaccinated. Let's host a banger of an event.
Yeah.
And that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to do this forever. They finally got the opportunity to do it, and they did the most of it. It was a great event. I enjoyed going to Major 1. Even though I didn't get the results that I wanted from my team, I think that was probably the best week that I've ever had in my entire life. I met so many cool people. I got to meet like tons of pros, and it was just like awesome.
I will say, like, as an OpTic fan, like, I mean, one, like, as you're saying, like, if they're going to do something, they do it right.
Mm-hmm.
But OpTic winning at their major after years of anticipation for, like, a real OpTic event was, like, you can't make that shit up. Like, that was so good. Like, I feel like everybody, like, every Call of Duty fan, I don't care who you support, like, one, you know who OpTic is. Like, you know that OpTic has helped develop this scene so much, FaZe included too. But, like, them winning their own event, you can't write a better story.
Yeah, for sure. And, like, that's go back to it. It's like, OpTic sticks with their people. Like, if you're on OpTic, bro, you, like, almost, like, secured your, like, life being an OpTic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause Scum's been there since, like, Black Ops 1 or before or whatever. Like, this kid, like, was there when he was, like, 13 or something.
He signed in Black Ops 1, I think, towards the, like, middle of the year.
Yeah, and he's been there ever since. Like, Hex is obviously, he's always going to be there because he's the owner. And, like, but, like, Karma, you know, stuff like that. And obviously they well, not so much Scump or Karma pretty much, but, like, Formal, he's gone to other teams and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, Formal as OpTic Formal.
One thing that I really like is, you know, the real OpTic fans, like, not the ones that are dickheads on Twitter, but like anyone, basically, if you come through OpTic, whether you stay or you end up somewhere else, like, OpTic fans are still going to like you unless you really screw something up. It's like Arcees is my dude. Like, dude, the time that he spent on the Huntsman, like, he's my dude. Octane, love Octane. Clayster, like, freaking Crim, like, anyone that's ever been part of OpTic, it's like there's a small part of you that's always going to be in OpTic's corner. Envoy, like, that's something I feel like not a lot of fan bases in sports, like, as a whole, like, not a lot of fan bases are like that.
Right. And like especially when Alec was on Huntsman, that's, like, for sure, like, what kind of, like, made me, like, branch out from, like, because I liked FaZe, obviously, because Salium Sympabeezy. I didn't really care for Major Maniac or Priesta, you know, whatever. But, like, Alec was on Huntsman, and I was like, damn, okay, like, he's got some good people around him. Obviously, I wish they would have, you know, did better at champs, but, like, still at the end of the day, like, I was like, that's when I was kind of like you could say, like, an OpTic fan, was because, like, Alec was obviously on the team. And then, like, obviously I'm just going to follow him wherever he goes, but I'm still going to like FaZe. And so I definitely felt like when he was on Huntsman, like, that was a good team.
Yeah. Like, Huntsman, it's unfortunate that they didn't place better throughout the year, but, like, they were pretty solid roster.
They were, for sure.
And I will say, like, I was telling this to my girl when I was, like, explaining, like, FaZe, like, we were watching the OpTic versus FaZe for Major 1. I was like, even though Dallas won champs for MW19, like, I think FaZe was still the best team that year. Like, FaZe ran that shit and made every team adapt to their game. Dallas just showed up at the end. Like, Empire was good all year, but I feel like MW19, like, FaZe fucking owned that game.
Yeah.
So FaZe wise, like, what do you think FaZe is doing that's making them special as an organization? Obviously, they're like I said, the biggest following in esports. Yeah,
I mean, they're doing everything. Like, I mean, they're winning tournaments in CS:GO still. They're winning tournaments in Valorant. Obviously, unfortunately, Call of Duty this year, not yet, but like Rocket League, stuff like that. And, like, FaZe, when you think of organizations in esports, you think of FaZe and OpTic. And you literally can't have FaZe without OpTic, and you can't have OpTic without FaZe. You know what I'm saying? Like, those two literally, like, just carried all of esports for, like, the past, like, whatever years you want to say. And, like, what FaZe does too is, like, they are literally, like, they were Fortnite before Fortnite. You know what I'm saying? They're collabing with everybody. Like, FaZe has, like, collabs with Lyrical Lemonade. Like, they's got their own stuff in, like, FIFA. Like, they got their own, like, soccer kit in FIFA. They got they got their own stuff in, like, they had a couple Fortnite skins, but obviously none cool ones, or I would have bought it, you know. But they got, like, stuff in Rocket League. They got so much. Like, FaZe is everywhere. Like you said, it's a worldwide entertainment organization, and, like, the collabs that they do and the clothing and the merch and just the stuff that they do, like merch wise, is just phenomenal. Same with OpTic. OpTic does that good too. But like FaZe just takes it like another step, I guess, because they get bigger brands to connect with them.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and you're seeing that from like 100 Thieves as well. Like there was 100 Thieves, was it 100 Thieves and Gucci? That did.
Yeah.
I think it was a big.
Yeah, Gucci, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, that's one thing that I feel like OpTic probably could do, but their focus, it's not like FaZe and 100 Thieves focus is apparel. I mean, for 100 Thieves it is. They are an apparel company first.
Mm-hmm.
But OpTic, like, it's like they almost sell merch and like apparel and stuff as like just something to do, but it's not necessarily like any particular focus.
Right.
But I feel like size-wise, like they have the influence to collab with bigger brands and bigger creators. But I feel like that's also one of the things like comes back down to like keeping it that core. And it's like, even like Matt, right? Like Matt's been working for Hex for like 3 years now and producing content, editing and everything. He just now actually earned the OpTic title. Like you can work for the people in the organization and work for OpTic and not be a part of OpTic. Like they've done a good job of keeping that like title so elusive. And like I would say FaZe has done a pretty good job of that too. One of the differences would be the way that they do like the FaZe recruits or whatever.
Yeah, FaZe 1, FaZe 100.
Yeah, like they have a way in that's like very linear versus like OpTic, like the only way in is basically like you got to be a unique creator that's obviously doing really well and growing your own brand, but like there's nothing that says, oh, if you build your brand this way, all of a sudden you'll be contacted by OpTic.
Right.
It's like fucking.
There's no tutorial how to join.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's both organizations have done a good job. Like I said, I think somebody had to do what FaZe did, and I'm glad it wasn't OpTic, even if it means OpTic technically has a smaller following.
I mean, that's fine too. I mean, like honestly, like
Yeah.
I mean, OpTic, like I said, OpTic and FaZe are really big. So one thing I ask all the guests on here is like their favorite all-time member of OpTic and their favorite current member of OpTic. I'll let you answer that, but for FaZe. And it can be like anybody in the organization too. It doesn't have to be like a pro player. Like technically you could fucking say Snoop Dogg at this point. Right.
So like I mean, someone that's currently on FaZe and then all time, which granted all time's probably also still currently on FaZe because nobody leaves that org.
Yeah, that's true too. All time would probably have to be either like FaZe Jev or like Rain.
Okay.
Yeah. So
fucking
those
legends.
Guys, yeah, like Rain or Jev, those guys really. I haven't really watched Jev recently, but like that's just because I like kind of.
I've actually been watching like a surprising amount. Like I never really watched Jev, but he keeps popping up on my recommended, and I'm like, I feel like I have to. Like.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, for sure. Like Jev for sure, because he was just funny as shit, dude. Like dude, especially like when he would just do the cut commentaries or whatever, like those were hilarious. And then Rain is the one who really like got me fully into like watching like the trick shotting stuff and stuff like that, because he was a good trick shotter back in the day too. Obviously he has like other stuff going on now, and like I'm glad that like the stuff that he has going on he's like surpassed and he's getting better at. Like with his personal issues and stuff and his mental health, that's good for him. I'm glad that he's finally doing good now. And then, like, obviously, my favorite current member has to be, like, anyone on the Atlanta FaZe roster.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Arcides.
Yeah, I figured. That's big bro for you. Like,
he's my dad.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't argue with those. I mean, if I were to pick my favorite current and all times for FaZe, I mean, Pomage would be in there. And then... Probably I want to say Temper, but like when I ask this question in regards to OpTic, I always say you can't say Hex because without him there is no OpTic.
Right.
So I feel like that same rule would have to apply for FaZe, meaning I can't say Temper.
Right.
So I would probably go with like Pomage and fuck, I don't know. maybe I don't know. I had no idea. I mean, I guess I could pick a pro player. Like, a lot of pro players have been on so many different rosters. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who I'd pick. I'll go with Fakey.
Okay.
I'll just throw out a random fucking old school dude.
And OpTic for sure. I can like OpTic, like for me, honestly, because like I said, like I like them too. All time, definitely formal. Current member, probably Scump as a creator, not as a pro player.
Okay. I would say I feel like current Shotzi's up there for me right now. His movement alone is crazy. But mine are always going to be Big Timer, Karma, and D-Treats. D-Treats is my favorite all-time sniper of all time.
Right.
So we said that you've been to an event. You've been to Major 1. You said it's your first and only Call of Duty event.
Yep.
What other events have you been to? Because I've only been to Call of Duty events.
Right. So, like Call of Duty events, as in like official events, like CDO events, stuff like that. But like I went to 3 Cold War lands last year, all in Chicago, at Scrim Center.
Okay.
I obviously, I didn't perform very well, but I was the best player on my team. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Yeah, but no, like other events like that. I've been to. There was a local here a couple years ago. I can't remember what game it was for. I think it was either Halo or Rainbow Six, but that was pretty cool.
See, I don't have like any local. Like I feel like the most local thing for me would probably be something in Sacramento, but even that's like 2.5 hours away.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Like,
yeah, I mean sporting events. I've been to sporting events.
Yeah, like I've been to. I mean, even sporting events, I haven't been to too many. Been to like 2 baseball games. I've been to a football game. I played on the Raiders field.
Oh hell yeah!
Like back when was that? That would have been like 2008, 2009. Like I went and watched the Raiders Bengals game, and then we scrimmaged on their field after the game. There's something to do with some sort of like football fundraiser. I'm not even a Raiders fan, but like it's still cool to be able to say like I've played football on an NFL field.
Right. Yeah, that's how it was for me. Like I've been to like a handful of baseball games. I've been to like 2 football games. Obviously, you know, me being in Detroit, there's not much happiness in our sports. I went to a Lions game, and I think, dude, we lost to the fucking Vikings. I don't know what we're doing here. Okay,
yeah,
like what are we doing?
Yeah, the Lions aren't the best org.
No. Poverty franchise. Okay, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
And then I went to a Red Wings game, and we got to skate on the ice. Never doing that again.
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah, I almost died, bro. You ever see a fat man ice skate? Nah, bro.
It ain't happening. That's kind of cool, though. Like it's cool to be able to say that you've like been on a professional, whatever field, ice, court, like whatever sport.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you could join FaZe or be involved with FaZe in any way, shape, or form, what would it be or why? We're talking pro player, content creator, fucking camera guy, coach, like.
Yeah. So for sure, obviously my standard answer is going to be a pro player. Why? Because I love competing. I love the competitive aspect of any game I play. I'm a very competitive person. Like, dude, we could literally play like Scrabble, and I'll literally like just shit talk you the whole time.
That's how I am.
Yeah.
Like, my buddy was roasting me yesterday. He's like, dude, if there was fucking ranked Minecraft, like you'd play that. Like it's like if there's a ranked mode in the game, you're playing it. I'm like,
I'm literally juicing that shit up. Yeah.
I like ranked modes.
Yeah, dude. It gets like it separates the boys from the men. You know.
That's right.
Yeah, but I like pro player, obviously standard. But like, dude, anything that like if FaZe came up to me and they were like, "Yo, you want to be our team shoe tire?" Yeah, sure. I will go around and tie everyone's shoes. Like I'll do the bare minimum to join.
That's
FaZe.
funny as shit. Because I think this was at Major. No, I think it was Champs. I think it was Cold War Champs. I was asking. I was basically doing like the Brick by Brick podcast, but like live and like pulling people aside for a couple minutes for like rapid fire. And some dude was like from Mexico. had like traveled up to go to the fucking COD champs, just wanted to meet like Hex. And he's like, I don't care. Like, I would do anything. Like, if they needed someone to fucking mop the Hex quarters and like shine shoes, I would do that. And I was in my head while you were answering, I was like, the best answer I've heard is like fucking shoe shiner. And then you hit me with fucking, I'll tie shoes.
Yeah, I'll literally be a professional shoe shiner, bro. I don't care. But like literally, like
you want double knot? You want the rabbit to go like under the hole? Like how you want this shit tied? You want me to relace those up? Like
yeah, like I like SpongeBob taught me how to do it, bro.
I'm on top of it.
On God. Yeah, but like pro player obviously, but content creator would also be a nice dream too. Because I feel like content creator, my longevity is unstoppable.
Yeah,
and like pro player, obviously you're gonna have to,
I mean, I feel like the smart answer is pro player. Because like, okay, if we're assuming that when you say pro player, you get the skills to play professionally, because like I could want to be a pro player all day. I don't got the skills to do it. But if the skills come with the fantasy, I feel like pro player is the smart answer, because then you get to compete professionally. Maybe you win a little bit, but like at the end of the day, you get to compete professionally. And like simply by competing, people are going to know who you are, and it just makes it that much easier to transition into content when you're done.
I was just going to say that. I'm so glad that you said that. Yes.
Like,
okay.
I mean, it's not like it's easier to be a pro player,
right?
But like, it's really hard to build an audience when nobody knows who you are, versus like simp. Like a lot of the FaZe guys, really, they don't really make content.
Right.
But it's like, if they wanted to, like fucking anybody would go watch Sim play. He's going to go down as, a top 3 and arguably number 1 player in Call of Duty of all time.
Yeah. And
like, people are going to fucking watch that.
Right. And he definitely built like a good stepping stone for him, because this kid, bro, you're good when the league is literally just waiting for your birthday. Like the CWL was literally just waiting for this kid Simp to turn 18, bro.
Yeah.
So they could sign him. Like, he was on E United Cadets with him, Illy, Turn Up Too Easy, and someone else. And I think Celia maybe? Or
Turn Up Too Easy is a pretty sick name.
Yeah. And it was them on EU Cadets or whatever in World War II, IW and stuff like that. And like literally, like Simp would literally, like you just, if you were going to a LAN and you knew Simp was going, you're not getting first.
Yeah.
You're getting like maybe like, if you have to play him, you're getting dead last. But if you like, somehow survive through the bracket, and
if you can get to grand finals,
yeah,
you're losing to Simp.
Yeah, right. But like this, my buddy, he went to a LAN in New Jersey for World War II, and it was a LAN that Simp won. And like he was telling me, like people would just like walk up to him, and like he was a super cool guy, and he would just walk up to him and they would handshake him and stuff like that. But then like he would go and do his business and then just walk out.
Yeah. See, that was like what was cool about events way back in the day, because like my first event was Anaheim 2013, my second event was Anaheim 2019, but like 2013, like the way that they had like the open bracket tables and everything set up, like it was cool because you would see these players that weren't quite at the pro level. They didn't have like a name for themselves, but all of a sudden you would see like little crowds start gravitating around certain tables. And it's like, these are basically nobodies. And like at this tournament, they made the name for themselves. And it's like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, this guy's popping off. Like, he is running through this open bracket. And then like, fast forward a year or so, or maybe even later in that same year, you see like him start screaming with pro players, and like people start testing him out. It was just fucking cool to like watch that happen.
Yeah. I can personally say that is a good comparison to how I kind of was. Because before, like, all this, like, Twitter stuff that I did, bro, I was a nobody. I was literally just a kid that, like, streamed and, like, played video games. And I was just, like, that cool kid. But then, like, I was, like, and then I started competing in Call of Duty. Started getting, I'm not even, like, known, I guess, but I got a little clout.
I feel like you have a little bit of a following. Like,
I'd say so. And
I mean, for considering you've only really been doing this for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, you've done a pretty good job. Because, like, how many Twitter followers do you have?
I think I'm at like 15 something. I'm at 1530.
1530? Yeah, like that's decent. And then like for Twitch, what do you got?
Like,
because you actually stream like a decent amount. 592. You lost one. Shame on you.
Darn.
But like that's pretty solid. Because like Do you make any other content besides streaming? Like, do you make YouTube videos or like TikToks or anything?
I used to, but nah. It's just my main platform is Twitter and then Twitch.
Yeah. See, like that's what like those numbers are pretty high considering you're not really doing it like the right way.
Yeah, I
like
guess,
you're not putting in maximum effort to really get your name out there.
It's hard to when you work a full-time job.
Yeah, like obviously time and everything, like, it is hard, but it's like you've done a pretty good job in the few years that you've been doing this.
I'd say so. And like for sure, like I said, like me going to this because I went to I was playing in Cold War or whatever, and these dudes offered to like literally just like pay my entry for this land. All I had to do was get to Chicago. All I had to do was drive from Detroit to Chicago, and they'll pay.
How far of a drive is that?
Like 3 or 4 hours.
The fuck out of here. It's why, because like I've lived in California my whole life. Like it's the fucking third largest state in the fucking country. Like, I was born in Anaheim. Wonder how long of a drive it takes me to get to Anaheim?
Like what? Like 6 hours?
8.5.
Oh heck no! Fuck that.
Like that seems normal to me. And then I talked to fucking pretty much anyone in any other state that's like not Texas. And like, if you were to drive 9 hours in one direction, you're like fucking 3 states away.
Yeah.
4 states. Like you're in a different world.
Yeah, literally. And me going to that land,
fucking 3 hours.
No one knows.
That just gets me from here to fucking the capital.
Right. And like, I literally like, and I'm a pretty nice guy, I'd say. Like, obviously, when I'm competing, I'm gonna be like your worst enemy.
Yeah.
But when I'm just walking around and stuff like that, like I'm a pretty nice guy.
So
you're
like, super chill.
I appreciate it. And I was 17 at this time, right? I hadn't even turned 18 yet. I was 17, and I go to this land center, and these dudes have been doing this for like ever. I'm assuming because they're a couple known people there, like Conwa. He was there. He's a top like 16 challenger player, and like other people like that. And I'm just walking around. I'm like, yo, what's up? I'm banned. And I'm like walking around, and that's where I kind of like blew up my following because I walked in that land with like 700 followers, maybe. And those followers, I have no idea how I got those. To be honest with you, I guess people just followed my account.
Well, it's like, I mean, definitely like when you go, even if you're not competing, if you just go to an event, like you just meet people, your following goes up a little bit. I imagine if you're competing and you're actually good, it's almost easier because like then like your super casuals that are just kind of there to like watch and shit, like in their head they might be looking at it as like, yo, this guy might be like the next something. Like if you're actually like an elite player, it's like, yo, this guy might be the next fucking Arcides.
And I literally walked around, dude. I praying. I literally like walked around. 700 might be a stretch. It might have been lower than that, but I literally like just walked around and just got like a follow from everyone at the event. And you're talking like it's a decent sized event. You're guaranteed like at least 200 followers.
Yeah.
So like I'm walking around there and stuff like that. And then I had it's not even like a famous clip, but I had my 3-piece where I got to win the game, and I just stand up and I started screaming. And then they were like, oh shit, like this kid's loud. And I feel like that's where I get most of my attention from, is because I'm a loud, entertaining person.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about like how the crowds like move over to the table. My second land that I went to with my friends, like we're scrimming. This is scrims the day before the event, and like obviously I'm a passionate player when it comes to competitive.
So you're probably fucking loud in scrims too, dude.
We're literally the day before the event starts. We're literally scrimming, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, these kids fucking suck.
See, I mean, you hear it when I'm fucking cheering for OpTic. Like I am a loud, very passionate fan. If I was competing, dude, I would be in some fucking faces. But like I think I'm a really nice guy and like super down to earth and easy to talk to. But like when you're in that like tunnel vision, basically, dude, I like the only reason I really want to be a pro is to be able to fucking yell at people and and back it up. Like
that's the only reason why I haven't like stopped competing, dude. It's like obviously I'm still young, but like it's like I could definitely do other stuff than compete. But I just love like, especially when people yell at me before the game is over. It just actually just hits a different level.
Like for me, like one of the number one things I just miss in Call of Duty is like persistent game lobbies, because like I'd be talking shit in the game lobby, and then like you run it up, and then maybe you win, maybe you lose, but like you talk shit in the game lobby again, and then you play the same players. Like even that, it's like a scaled down version of what you'd be getting at a LAN.
Dude,
but I'm like, I gotta let them know.
Right. If you've never been to a LAN, I like anyone like watching or like anyone that you talk to, I recommend going to at least one LAN. You don't even have to play.
Dude,
if it's near your house, dude, just go sit there and just watch.
If there were local events, and like maybe there are, maybe I just haven't done a good job researching them, but also I was trying to compete fucking back between Black Ops 2 and like AW.
Yeah.
But like, oh man, if I would have gone to some local events or something, even if it was down in like Sacramento, I would have been loud.
Yeah.
I would have been like, you get like a 2-piece, 3-piece, get the fuck off of me.
Yeah, literally, like dude.
Like my favorite Scump clip of all time is probably him bowing down, and I know he hates that clip. Yeah. But it's such a good clip, and like, who's the best in the game?
Yes, dude, and that's when my team and my teammates love like when I get hype and stuff, and I do too. But bro, the voice is chalked after that, bro.
Oh yeah.
Dude, like my one clip, I think it was my third and final LAN that I went to in Cold War. These dudes, the whole series, bro, talking that big shit. They were yelling at us, talking shit, and the series wasn't over, and then we won. And that's when you go tunnel vision and you just stand up and you start screaming. That's
when Aches pushes nade shot.
Yeah, dude. Then it was like, whoa! I gotta show you the clip after that. Like literally,
yeah, it's like that. Fuck, what was like? Remember a couple months ago there was that one clip that like super blew up. It was like a college match or something, and fuck, I don't remember the teams. It was like a collegiate, like I think it was Call of Duty, and dude, these guys were going in. Like, if you saw the clip, you definitely have seen it. It was all over Twitter for a minute.
Is it when he called out the org owners for sending the people there?
Yeah, he's like, you say I'm here to lose to me?
That's Q-Pan. Yeah, that was AGN Florida, I believe, or something. Yeah, Q-Pan. That was Q-Pan, yeah.
Wait, what's that? Yeah. Hold on, wait, Q-Pan?
Yeah. I think his @ is QQPANN _.
QPANNN? For something upstarts? Like hold on, wait a minute. That was this dude? I follow this guy. I recognize him. Fucking I think I've met him. I think I met him at 2 different events. I feel like I met him at fucking COD Champs 2019. And he was pretty cool. And then I met him again or maybe it was Anaheim 19 and Champs 2019 or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh yeah, what's your @ And I went to fucking follow him, and like I was like, oh, you're that guy. I already follow you. I could be wrong. I could be thinking of someone else.
Maybe, but no, yeah, his name that's Q-Pan. Yeah, no,
that's hella funny.
Yeah, I've never met him before, but I've seen him. He's pretty good.
I think that's the guy I'm thinking of. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, if you could join FaZe, pro player / content creator, fair answers, pretty standard. For most people I have on there is people want to be a pro player for OpTic or content creator for OpTic is the answers you usually hear. If you want to answer this question for both OpTic and FaZe, feel free to. If you want to answer just for FaZe, that's fine. But what are your top 3 favorite moments in FaZe history or OpTic history or both, however you want to answer it?
Yeah, for sure. So,
and again, this is something that like a moment in FaZe history could be signing Snoop Dogg. Like it'd be anything.
Yeah, we'll stick to the FaZe one for this one.
Yeah.
Obviously FaZe winning champs last year. That's probably my number 1.
Okay.
Number 2 is probably when they signed our cities.
Okay.
To the roster. And number 3 is when the CSGO team just won the major recently.
See, I haven't followed CSGO since like 60-50 and like Scuff House CSGO.
Okay.
Yeah. That's when I mostly just follow Call of Duty until OpTic signs a team in something else. And then I follow that something else for a short time. Yeah, like I'll follow like OpTic's like Apex and Rocket League team for like the next couple months, and then I'll probably fall off. Halo is probably the next one that I actually follow a decent amount.
I actually take back my third answer. My third best moment is when FaZe reverse sweeped OpTic in World War II. when attached ran through his own artillery.
Okay, that's acceptable because, like, I mean, I've used this segment throughout the entire podcast as ways to just like call back big moments in OpTic history. Because, like, I mean, 2017, like winning champs, like that's a big one. Obviously, that's like probably going to be everyone's number one. Like Dashy's 5-piece is just an insane clip in Black Ops 4. But like, because you're on here, I'll say two of my favorite OpTic moments are Black Ops 4 reverse sweep and Major 1 reverse sweep. Yeah. And not just Major 1 reverse sweep, but like the dominance in S&D in that game 5. Yes. Like I'll say that those are special for you. If you can meet, obviously you've met like a decent amount of pros and stuff. But if you could meet one person in FaZe, who would it be? And does your answer change if you actually get to like hang out with them for a day versus just like a meet and greet?
Yeah. So, man, honestly, because I've already met I've met everyone in Atlanta FaZe, obviously, and so like they're obviously off the board for the answer. But like other than that, like for a FaZe member to meet, dude, probably Snoop Dogg.
Fuck, actually, geez. I know I've been saying it a lot, but I, for some reason, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you have any other options? Like, it's Snoop.
Yeah. I mean, Kyler Murray, that'd be cool.
Yeah. See, because mine are always like Big T, again, he's one of my favorites of all time. I don't know if hanging out with him for a day would be super fun, but I haven't met him. So he's on my list of like, I'd like to just meet him. But if I actually had to like hang out with someone, it'd probably be Hex. Like hang out with the dogs and everything, like watch movies, bullshit. Like,
yeah.
I mean, which is odd because I've actually met Hex the most. I met him at Anaheim 13. I think I met him at Anaheim. Like I've got like 4 or 5 pictures with him. I've met him at almost every event. And then I had the sit down like interview with him. So I'm like, I'm over just meeting him, but I'd still want to hang out with him for a day.
Yeah, right.
Like hang out with all the dogs, Henry, fucking, even like Jude and stuff. Like,
yeah. And for like OpTic, like Loki, I definitely would like, cause dude, I was so upset at Major 1. So I was in the hotel, like talking to like all the FaZe members, and Formal was outside waiting for his Uber. And the whole time
was this there, Sunday night?
Yeah. The whole time I was there, dude, I was like, dude, I want to meet Formal. Like, I love Formal. He's so funny. He's awesome. And then I was talking to the FaZe members, and Connor came in, Galaxy.
Yeah.
He came in, he was like, dude, Formal was just outside. I was like, is he still out there? He's like, no. I was like, bro, that would be the one OpTic member I'd want to meet and hang out with, would be Formal.
Someone else I'd really like to meet would be TP, actually. I really like TP. Like, to me, he's like one of the most perfect examples of like how to represent OpTic. Like,
well, now that you say that, like, I changed my whole FaZe answer.
Who?
I'd love to hang out with Zuma.
Oh shit! Actually, that's a good one too. You can meet Snoop Dogg and you can hang out with Zuma.
Yeah,
that's why like I added the hang out part because I started thinking about it for myself and I was like, it does change just because like I feel like Big T's just looking at stock charts all day. Like that don't seem like a lot of fun. It seems like I could learn a lot.
Yeah,
but like it doesn't seem fun.
Yeah.
And it's cool because you hear a lot of different answers because like people like TST, people really like TST, obviously. Like people really like Maniac. Like Maniac's definitely not one of my favorites, but like he definitely has a huge following. So I don't know. Throughout the podcast, I've switched up certain questions a little bit. So I don't know. It's cool. It's fun. Do you have, this will actually be interesting because I don't follow FaZe content super closely. I ask this sometimes I don't, but like a favorite series that OpTic has done. So like OpTic has done, they had like Mexicandy, they had like Smooth Comp, they have right now they've been doing the like what's in the box videos and stuff. There's like OpTic Trivia. Obviously there's the process and like Vision. So like there's a handful of different series and stuff that they've done. What's like a favorite series that you like of FaZe? And like, is there any series that they used to do and they don't anymore that you'd like to see brought back? Like for OpTic, like that'd probably be smooth comp would be most people's answer.
Yeah. So for FaZe, they kind of have like a similar thing now, but unfazed, obviously.
Yeah, it's like their version of like the process, kind of.
Yeah, that was very entertaining to watch, and I wish they did it more. Obviously, I know why that they don't do it that they stopped unfazed. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, so I'm not going to. Yep. But they stopped it for a reason. But another series that I like FaZe content wise was like when they did like the FaZe versus a team trick shotting like stuff. And
okay.
They did the videos where, they would like Black Ops 2 definitely like Blaziken in them. They would like go into private matches and it'd be like FaZe versus like another org, and they would just trick shot, and whoever hit the most trick shots would win.
Yeah, like FaZe versus Soar, FaZe versus like Obey or some of these older clans. Okay. Yeah, because like for FaZe stuff, like I've watched independent videos and stuff. Like there's what's his name? I watched a shitload of him in Black Ops 4 actually. He's a sniper. That's super broad. I want to say his name started with like a T or something. But he was like nasty. Like super nasty in Black Ops 4.
Eco?
I think so. That sounds familiar. But like I've watched like a lot of videos like that, but like I'd say the only FaZe like series I've ever watched was like, again, either independent series like Pomage 1v1ing, somebody like he's had a handful of like 1v1 series he's done. But like Ilcam's is really good. Like their entire montage series is fucking nasty.
Ilcam's is nice.
And like, I could go as far as to say like Pomage's Catalyst. Like that's an independent series. So one thing that I mentioned I wanted to talk about, and we can roll into it now, is obviously FaZe has been super dominant the first 2 years. And now year 3, it's not that they've fallen off, but it definitely seems like they are struggling more than expected. And part of that could be because, competition's rising, people are getting better. Rosters have changed. FaZe has not really changed the roster. So maybe teams are just forming in ways that combat FaZe better. I think that it comes from the players just not enjoying the game a ton and therefore not putting the time in. And then you get into this weird thing where it's like, maybe you're not putting the time in and then you're not seeing the results, and then you don't see the results, so you don't enjoy the games. Then you continue to not put the time in and you end up in this little cycle.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that entire situation? Like, what do you think's the reason that FaZe's struggled a little bit more than expected this year?
Yeah. So this is going to be like a very like raw opinion. Definitely looking at MW, like I said, like it was either FaZe, Huntsman, or Empire, and like you said, in your opinion, like FaZe was more dominant in MW, and that's fine too. Obviously, it's 5v5, so it's a little different.
Yeah, true.
But then going into Cold War, like FaZe was literally the best team, and a lot of teams are doing what. A lot of teams this year are doing what they should have done last year. A lot of teams in Cold War, like their goal was to beat FaZe. Like when OpTic beat FaZe in Major 5 qualifiers, they literally acted like they won champs. And like that's no offense to any like them at all. But
kind of the wrong mindset though.
Right. But that's the thing is like teams were so hell bent on trying to beat FaZe. Like they were making roster changes to try to compete with FaZe. And FaZe was so dominant during Cold War. And I feel like the reason they're struggling now, there's multiple reasons, but I think the number one reasoning is, in my opinion, is that this game literally doesn't require any smarts.
True.
FaZe is such a smart, structured team, and that's why they were so dominant in Cold War, because Cold War, you could get a 3 or 4 man wipe, and then you can breathe for a couple seconds and set up and hold angles and stuff like that. But Vanguard, you're always moving. You can't breathe. It's constant comms. You never get a chance to stop and move. And like the ARs are getting into more interactive fights because of how fast the game is being played. More that if you look at like Cold War or Modern Warfare, like the ARs got to play an AR because they're playing slower and holding crosses.
Yeah.
And then with like I said, like Vanguard, I feel like FaZe is trying to play too smart and that's where they're messing up. Is teams are literally just like flying at them and just outmaneuvering them because FaZe is trying to play too structured and too smart this year for a game that doesn't require any smarts.
Okay. See, because like one thing that I mean, I agree. Like, I think a lot of teams, instead of focusing on being the best team they can, they were focusing on how to beat FaZe.
Yeah.
One team that I highly respect for not doing that a ton in MW was Rocker. Like, to me, Rocker was the only team that could actually, like, even though they didn't necessarily beat FaZe, they're the only team that was able to kind of control FaZe a little bit. Like, every team was trying, like you said, like they were making roster changes. They were trying to do everything to try to meet and like match FaZe's pacing. And Rocker was the only team that was like, no, you're going to play at our pace.
Yeah.
And like they forced FaZe to adapt, but like it's still FaZe. They're still super dominant. So they ended up beating Rocker pretty much every time. But like I respected Rocker for not playing FaZe's game. And to be fair, Rocker did that with almost every team that year. Like Rocker's like, no, you're fucking playing our game.
Yeah.
Cold War, I mean, yeah, the switch to 4v4 changes things a little bit, makes it a little bit more traditional. And that alone has like a weird impact on the game. Vanguard, I really haven't watched enough to like look at it strategically, but I will say it is a super fast-paced game. And the time to kill is so fast too that like, I don't know, everything about it is weird and puts you in these situations, like you said, where like you never really get a moment to breathe and set up. I think that's one of the reasons we see fucking Shotzzy doing so good this year. Is like Shotzi's a player that actually benefits from that because he's able to just basically like not even think and just fucking go. And like it works for him. Simp, I always looked at the Tiny Terrors as players that would do that too. Maybe I was looking at them wrong. Maybe they're more strategic than I thought.
Yeah.
But like I've always looked at the Tiny Terrors as these two players that can just fucking fly and do shit.
Yeah. Definitely, I'm glad to see that like FaZe is definitely like stepping it up a lot better than they were. Like Major 1, they were like, we thought that like they were really good, but then like after they lost to OpTic, obviously they kind of went like down like toward the downward spiral, and then they brought it back up, and it was just like a big wave of like up and downs. But I'm so happy to see that like Simp and Abizi, like, you know, being able to like show like, you know, their prime skill level, and they're starting to play very well, and like and FaZe is starting to like become like almost like not final, but they're starting to get to the place where they should have been all year. They're finally looking like a team that you can compete against instead of like it's either you get 3-0'd or you're getting reverse swept.
And if anything, like, I mean, that's good timing, right? Like you want to start hitting peak form around the last major and champs, ideally. That's almost like the opposite of like what OpTic has done in the past, where it's like I feel like they usually come out really hot, and I feel like historically in Call of Duty they've always been the best looking team up until or right after the first tournament, and then it's like they almost hit a wall, and other teams like start to adapt, and then they kind of ramp back up right around champs, but it's like obviously never enough except for IW.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like historically OpTic has always looked definitely the best at the beginning of a game.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
so I don't know. It'll be an interesting, like, I mean, you have major 4 qualifiers going on right now, right?
Yeah, this is week 2. I think they have 2 more weeks or 1 more week or whatever.
And then you have champs. Are you going to champs?
Yeah, I'm going to champs. Yeah.
Same.
Yep.
Yeah. I got my tickets.
Yeah, I'm buying my plane ticket tonight.
Yeah, I got to look at plane tickets and car rental. But my aunt lives like 30 minutes away from USC, so I got to save costs there.
That's good.
So yeah, it'll be fun. The girl's going. Like I said, I'm teaching her Call of Duty over the next like week or so, just so she kind of knows what's going on.
Hell yeah.
I'm a little concerned with it being at USC because that's where Cold War Champs was, and I don't know how much of the rules they had in place were because of COVID or because of the venue or because of the league. I don't think it's because of the league, just seeing how other events this year have been handled.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, was it because of COVID or because of the venue? And I'm hoping it was because of COVID.
Oh, like what rules?
Like they were being super fucking weird about just like even like the cameras you could bring in. Like, they wouldn't let me bring in my G7 with a kit lens. They'd be like, oh, your lens is longer than 3 inches. And I'd fucking just zoom it all the way out so it shrinks. And they're like, okay, you're good. And I'm like, I came in here 10 minutes ago and like that security guard right there commented about having the same microphone on his camera. And now you're not going to let me bring it in. Like, I've already been in here with it. Like, they were just being super weird about it. And then as far as like sponsor booths and shit that were set up, like obviously you were a Major One. They had like the AIM Labs booth. They had the 2 tables set up for just like being able to play Vanguard and stuff. They had obviously TST did an incredible job like hosting that, but like there was shit to do. At Champs for Cold War, there was a scuff booth where like all you could do was like buy a scuff. Like there was no participation events. Like there was Rocker was probably actually doing the most because they were bringing Rocker fans out and making content with them, like for the Rocker channel, which was cool.
Yeah. Did they have like merch there at Champs? Like
nope.
No.
Like they didn't have like nothing. Granted, this was also, if you remember, right before Cold War Champs, the league lost a handful of sponsors too.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
So I don't know how much of that. Like there was just so many variables that I don't know exactly what was the cause.
Right.
But I'm hoping, because it's at the exact same venue. I'm just hoping that there's better shit this year.
Yeah, I'm hoping that FaZe does that pop up like they did last year. That would be cool.
They did do a LA Thieves pop up at Cold War Champs, and that was kind of cool. But I don't know.
They did a FaZe one. I don't know where that was though. But if they do that, I'm going to that because that'll be cool.
Yeah, the pop ups are always cool. Like they did a 100 Thieves pop up at Anaheim 2019. I actually have a CWL Thieves jersey from 2019, so that's kind of cool. Because it was their first year in Call of Duty, and then they skipped a year, and then they came back in. And then FaZe did a pop up at Black Ops 4 Champs. I think they did a pop up. I didn't really go to it because, like, I'm not really a FaZe fan, but I'm pretty sure at Black Ops 4 Champs they did a pop up. They did do something. It wasn't a pop up or anything. It was just, I don't remember who it was, but it was one of the bigger creators in FaZe. Just showed up and they had like the whole fucking crew and everything with them shooting content at Champs for Cold War.
Yeah, that was a Nuke Squad or whatever.
Yeah. But like that's also like that's nothing the league's doing. That's just fucking FaZe doing a good job being an organization.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this will be fun because I was having like doubts like building up to Champs. I was like, you know, I said I wanted to go, but then I was like,
my only doubts are the venue.
Yeah.
Just because of my experience last time at that venue.
Right. Well, I mean, I the farthest state I've been to is Texas. So
yeah, same.
Now I'm going to the farthest state.
Dude, I'll hook you up with some tacos. I got some spots. Granted, they're all from the venue. They're probably 40 minutes away though. So
I don't know. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right. So wrapping things up, one last thing, unless there's anything you want to talk about before we wrap this up.
Oh, no, I think we've been pretty good.
All right. So one thing I do at the end of every episode is basically just like they do at the end of Hot Ones, give you a chance to shout yourself out or anybody else, tell people where to follow you, what you're up to, and all that sort of stuff. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right, for sure. Well, most of my social medias are pretty much the same, except for whoever took my Twitter at. I'm going to find you. Most of my ats are BigBodyBands, and then there's either underscore before or after. So you can find my Twitch at BigBodyBands, Twitter BigBodyBands underscore, Instagram BigBodyBands underscore. You know, you don't have to follow, you don't have to subscribe to my YouTube. I don't make content over there, but you know, shout out, thank you for letting me come onto your podcast. Hopefully some of the OpTic fans watching this will appreciate me more for my level opinions and stuff like that.
I mean, that's something that stood out to me when I met you. Is like, obviously you're a diehard FaZe fan, especially in that environment where you can like kind of not necessarily be yourself, because it's not like you're not being yourself right now, but like where the competitive juices are flowing. And then I was shocked when you were said you were like 18. Are you 19 now?
I'm 19. Yeah, I turned 19 like 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay. Happy late birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I was shocked because you were really well composed. You were super chill, down to earth, and like even though you were being super competitive and like talking shit, like you weren't letting it get out of hand like some people do. Yeah. So, plus the picture that we took in the full, that's just a dope picture. That was a dope fit.
Yeah, so, for sure. Appreciate that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you everybody for listening or watching. Make sure you go follow him. Links to all his stuff in the description below. Also a link for 1v1. Don't forget to check them out. Order yourself some performance gaming drinks. Try something new besides the bigger names that are out there. And let me know what you guys think of them. And I will see you guys on next week's episode. Also, we teased this a little bit at the end of last episode. Hopefully by champs, I will have a special personal item. It's nothing to like give away or buy or anything, but it is really exciting for me. It's a piece of apparel that when you guys see me wearing it, you will know because it is dope. I'll show you what it is right now afterwards too. Thank you guys again. See you guys on the next one. I'm out.